Hiya, puppets. I haven't read you a story in a while, so I was thinking I would go ahead and read more Grimm fairy tales because my bookmark is still in place. But I was also considering reading other things too because I have these choose your own adventure books. I don't know how long they take to go through a chosen scenario, or if they're copyrighted, or if that even matters when I have so few of you to talk to right now. But hey, worth considering. I also know that I can read to you my Robin Hood, probably. I've got Robin Hood over here. I can go ahead and also read you Christopher Robin. There's like so many Robins out there. Robin Goodfellow. Oh my gosh, I could read Shakespeare all day long, I suppose. But anyhow, I'm going to start with good old traditional Grimm's fairy tales because that's what you're familiar with. That's what I started out with. And I figure, hey, you know what? We can go back there. What do I have next? I have Rapunzel. Oh, Rapunzel gets pretty grim, actually. I mean, obviously, but anyway, you'll find out. Don't worry. There once lived a man and his wife who had long wished for a child, but in vain. Now there was at the back of their house a little window which overlooked a beautiful garden full of the finest vegetables and flowers. But there was a high wall around it, and no one ventured into it, for it belonged to a witch of great might, and of whom all the world was afraid. One day the wife was standing at the window and looking into the garden, and she began to feel a wish for some, and at length she longed for it greatly. When this went on for days, as she knew she could not get rampion, she pined away and grew pale and miserable. 'Cause who wouldn't, right? The man was uneasy and asked, "What is the matter, oh dear wife?" "Oh," she answered, "I shall die unless I can have some of the lettuce that grows in the garden at the back of our house." And the man, who loved her very much, thought to himself, "Rather than lose my wife, I will get some rampion, cost what it will." And so the twilight he climbed over the wall into the witch's garden and plucked hastily a handful and brought it to his wife. And she made a salad of it at once and ate to her heart's content. But she liked it so much, and it tasted so good, that the next day she longed for it thrice as much. And she had done so before, and was to have any rest, the man must climb over the wall once more. So he went in the twilight again, and was climbing back, and saw all at once the witch standing before him, and was terribly frightened. She cried with angry eyes, "How dare you climb over into my garden like a thief and steal my rampion? It shall be all the worse for you." "Oh," he said, "be merciful rather than just. I have only done it through the necessity, for my wife, she saw it out of her window and became possessed with so great a longing that she would have died had she not had some to eat." And the witch said, "If that is all as you say, you may have as much as you like, on the condition that the child will come into the world and must be given to me. It shall go well with the child, and I will care for it like a mother." In his distress of mind, the man promised everything, and when the time came, the child was born, the witch appeared, and giving the child the name Rapunzel, for it is the same as the rampion, she took it away with her. Rapunzel was the most beautiful child in the world, and when she was 12 years old, the witch shut her up in a tower in the midst of a wood, and it had neither steps nor door, only a small window above, and when the witch wished to be let in, she would stand below and cry, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel had long and beautiful hair that shone like gold, and when she heard the voice of the witch, she would undo the fastening of her upper window, unbind the plaits of her hair, and then let it down 20 ells below, and the witch would climb up by it. After they had lived thus for a few years, it happened that the king's son was riding through the wood, and he came to the tower, and as he drew near, he heard a voice singing so sweetly that he stood and listened. It was Rapunzel in all her loneliness, trying to pass away the time with sweet songs. The king's son wished to go in and see her, and sought to find a door to the tower, but there was none. So he rode home, but the song had entered his heart, and every day he went into the wood and listened to it. Once, as he was standing there under the tree, he saw the witch come up and listened while she called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then he saw Rapunzel let it down, and her long tresses. The witch climbed up by them and went to her, and he said to himself, "Since that is the ladder, I will climb it and seek my fortune." And the next day, as soon as it began to grow dusk, he went to the tower and cried, "Oh, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And as she let down her hair, the king's son climbed up by it, which, I think she would notice, right? Rapunzel was greatly terrified when she saw that a man had climbed up it. Like, how do you not recognize this is not the voice of your mother? I mean, the woman who raised you from birth. You know her voice. It's just, but some rando dude was like, "Hey!" But whatever, this is a fairy tale, and I'm going to continue reading it. So Rapunzel was greatly terrified when she saw a man had come up to her, for she had never seen one before. But the king's son began speaking so kindly to her, and told how her singing had entered his heart, so that he could have no peace until he had seen herself. And then Rapunzel forgot her terror. When he asked her to take her for a husband, she saw that he was young and beautiful, and thought to herself, "I certainly can like him much better than Mother Gothel." And she put her hand into his, saying, "I would willingly go with you, but I don't know how I shall get out. When you come, bring each time a silken rope, and I will make a ladder. And when it is quite ready, I will go down by it out of the tower, and you shall take me away on your horse." They agreed that he should come to her every evening, and as the old woman came in the daytime, so the witch knew nothing of this until once Rapunzel said to her unwittingly, "Mother Gothel, how is it that you climb up here so slowly, and the king's son with me in a moment?" "Oh, wicked child," the witch cried, "what is this I hear? I thought I had hidden you from all the world, and you have betrayed me." In her anger, she seized Rapunzel by her beautiful hair and struck her several times with her left hand, and then grasping a pair of shears in her right, snip, snip, snap, the beautiful locks lay on the ground, and she was so hard-hearted that Rapunzel she took and put her in the waste and deserted the place where she lived in great woe and misery. The same day on which she took Rapunzel away, she went back to the tower in the evening and made fast the several locks of hair to the window hasp, and the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And so the witch let down Rapunzel's hair, and the king's son climbed up. But instead of his dearest Rapunzel, he found the witch looking at him with wicked and glittering eyes. "Aha!" she cried, mocking him, "you came for your darling, but the sweet bird no longer sits in the nest and sings no more. The cat has got her and will scratch out your eyes as well. Rapunzel is lost to you, and you will see no more." The king's son was beside himself with grief, and in his agony he sprang from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns on which he fell put out his eyes. He wandered around blind through the wood, eating nothing but roots and berries, and doing nothing but lament and weep for the loss of his dearest wife. So he wandered several years in misery, until at last he came to the desert place where Rapunzel lived, with her twin children that she had borne, a boy and a girl. At first he heard a voice that he thought that he knew, and when he reached the place from which it seemed to come, Rapunzel knew him, and fell on his neck and wept. And when her tears touched his eyes, they became clear again, and he could see them as well as ever. He took her then to his kingdom, where he was received with great joy, and there they lived long and happily. But she already has twins. And presumably there's a dude involved. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand throwing it away all to be whisked off your feet to a new prince's kingdom whom you've loved forever. It seems nice. But, like, but I don't, your family. It's time to go ahead and bring up this past, which presumably maybe you've hidden because, well, it was painful and terrible, and you never thought you'd see your young princely paramour ever again. I guess that, but now it's time to bring your family to the prince's kingdom too. That would be great. And maybe don't just abandon them. There are lots of hard discussions that fairy tales bring up that are never had. Oh, but you know what, puppets, you can talk to me about them. I love going into this stuff. It's nice. And I hope you had fun with me today, because I certainly did with you. So, take care and be well. I'll see you all soon, okay? Bye.